someone who's been there, who's inspired, who's decided to do things that weren't what anyone else expected was possible, and has just created the impossible. And it's been an honor and privilege to see you and follow you in that journey. So if you could share part of that with us, that would be wonderful.
Well, Andrew reminded me, because the topic is transformation, that I should share a story a couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, about these two young interns of ours from Singapore, actually, from Yale US. I told Lynna, actually. We had two 18, 19-year-olds. They spent 8 weeks with us. And being Singaporeans, they're usually very sheltered. But on their last day, I actually had a journalist who came in to interview me. And because we didn't have space, so all these young interns were at the same group. We had 4, but 2 from Singapore. And 1 from America, from George Mason University, 4th-year nurse student, and 1 from Holland. And this journalist, at the end of the interview, said, "God, it's really grim what you do. Why do you do it?" I turned around and I asked these young people, I said, Christy has just asked me, why do we do what we do? And we look after children who are dying from cancer and HIV, from the poorest communities. And the 19-year-old from Singapore, she said, "But you have no choice. You just have to do it. Palliative care is a huge." She said, "Palliative care, leaving people in pain is just not acceptable." She said, "You just have to do it." And then the 20-year-old from George Mason University said, "Palliative care is a human right. Basic health care for anyone and everyone is a basic human right." And I think that's a transformation. In the 8 weeks that I had seen the young people, it was beautiful to see how they opened their hearts, and they grew. And I know now that one in her blog said, "From now on, coming back to Singapore, I know it's cold, hard world here, but there's no reason why I wouldn't be able to actually live this spirit-filled life that I've experienced in the last 8 weeks." So when we started in 2006, we went along, and I thought it was going to be easy. By 2009, I was ready to close Rachel House down. There was such great inner disharmony. There were just problems everywhere. And then I met Geshe-la in December 2009. And Geshe-la taught me that in life, nothing comes at you, right? Everything is from you. And with that, I ended up planting seeds. And with that, I took it back to our office. Just to give you context, the nurses were always fighting. And whenever I asked anyone, why are the nurses always fighting? And they said, well, they're like chooks. The Australian calls them chicken, right? Chicken is chooks. They're like chooks. They'll nibble all the time. Don't worry, that's normal. And there were all of these donors who basically complained about Rachel House, complained about me, really. That said, when we give money to school, within 6 months they're out of money. When we give money to Lynna, Chandra, 3 years, nothing happened. You can tell people it's the first palliative care in Indonesia, it's the first hospice. People don't change their mindset. Doctors don't want hospices. Doctors don't want to give palliative care. Nobody listens. So, applying what Geshe-la taught me, I went home. It was very easy to see that the disharmony internally came from the fact that every time a nurse came to me to complain about the other, I said, "Yeah, man, that was really stupid. Why did he do that?" And we continued that cycle. It was just a circle of bad fire. And I went back to tell the team that we have to stop. Whenever you come and tell me anything about the other, let's go and solve the problem together. Or we pull the other person in, and let's talk about how we can actually solve it. But I am not going to be the perpetrator of this wildfire that's going on. The other thing was a bit more difficult to actually own up. The donors were critical about me. Even at home, I was critical about the helper that I had. I was always telling her, "This is a faster way of doing this. You should be doing this, you should be doing that." And whenever my wonderful husband, when he was driving, you know, I used to tell him, no, 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 you got to drive faster through that. You got to do this. You got to do that. So I stopped. And when I stopped, it stopped. So the transformation in Rachel House, today we have the most beautiful team to work with. We have this incredible team. Like, I mean, they're just such loving. They are the first, it's the first model in Indonesia of loving nurses. That, you know, no matter how bad the situation is, they go out, they look after the people. And it's that sort of light in Indonesia now that next week, after the holiday, we go back to Jakarta, and the governor of Jakarta has advised us to basically train the entire medical professionals in Jakarta. And the Nursing Association has actually upheld Rachel House as the nurse model in Indonesia that they want to basically emulate. And so for a small team of 9 people, we will be growing pretty quickly from now on. And we need you to come back to tell us how to grow, grow peacefully within, and because we realize that to grow from 9 people to 20, maybe in 6 or 12 months, will have its challenges. They will value perhaps big name, value some of our ethos. But that's our transformation.